So you want to learn how to paint a watercolor flower? In this video I show you how. Hi, my name's Chantel and I'm an artist, and in this video I'm going to give you a tutorial on how to paint a flower. Hello, so for this painting I am using Lockingford traditional watercolor paper. It is acid-free 300 GM paper and it's HP white, so that's what I'm starting with. And I've just drawn a really light flower. You can draw any flower that you feel that would be good for you. Just look up a reference and decide on the flower you want. Now I will be using this brush. So this is just like a really nice fat tip brush. I don't actually have the name of this brush, but it's like a nice fat tip brush that I've been using. And then I have a much smaller detailed brush. This is an all media miniature brush in the series 400 from Pro Arte, and it is a number 3 brush. So I'm going in with the big brush first and I'm wetting the page. So I'm starting with the stamen of the flower and just sort of wetting that area, getting it nice and wet. Also going over to the petal as well, not the petal, the leaf, and getting that wet. Since we're working with lots of really wet pieces, you don't want to do 2 pieces that are close together. So that's the reason why I didn't just start working on the petal. So doing the stamen and the leaf, and then also wetting the stem. And now I will choose a color from my palette. I think I will go with maybe one of these greeny colors. I'm taking my smaller brush and I'm going to mix up greens. I'm going with this lighter green, and then I'm going to go in with an ultramarine blue to mix that in. So I'm just doing blue and green. I'm just getting a really nice watered down color here. And then I'm going to bring some of that color over here and do a more of a yellowy base, where I take a little bit of that. So now that I've mixed my colors, I am just going around the edge and then bringing it in so that it has this really beautiful bleed that happens. And just bringing that in and also going in with those 2 different types of green. It just gives it such a beautiful effect. I'm just slowly dragging it in and then just dropping a few drops of water, just so it has that beautiful blend and it can spread. I'm going to do the same with the stem and then adding a few little drips of water at the stem piece. And this gives it this really beautiful like faded look that I really love. Now let's move into the stamen. We get closer up. You can see that we're closer to the stamen. Right here I'm going around the edges in sort of like a yellowy color. Just letting that bleed in. I think I've got a little bit too much water in there. Maybe just a tad bit, so I'm just going to absorb it a little bit. Just absorbed and soaked up a little bit of water with the kitchen roll. And just taking that yellow and bringing it around. And just going in with slightly different shades of yellow. Now I want to drop the water into the middle. Let it spread a little bit. This relies heavily on the fact that this relies really heavily on making sure that your brush is wet and dripping the paint. So now I'm just going in with a little bit of a brown and just really just filling my brush with that. Just getting those drips of brown in as well. If you're curious to explore art techniques even more, then click the link in my description box below to get access to my 7-day Art Creative Reset Challenge, where I dive even deeper and explore more art techniques to help you free yourself. I've just mixed up a really nice purple color, and I'm going to go in on these petals, just dragging it outwards like this. I've just got my brush fully filled with water and a bit of that color, and just dragging it out all the way to the leaves. And then I'm just letting it drop and drip into it to create that really nice bleed effect. And then I'm going to go to the next petal over so that they don't affect each other. So I've just gone in with a little bit of a darker color. Just getting lots of water into my brush and dragging that in, you can see. And then I'm just going to take some more water and just drip it in. You can see it just has that really beautiful spread, and it just has this amazing effect. So just going in with a little bit more pigment and going to the next petal around the edges first, and then inwards towards the stamen. And then the rest I fill with water. And then I just drip it and let it meld into it to have that really beautiful effect. And it's just such a pretty way to color in petals. I love this for watercolor flowers. And it just gives it such a gorgeous effect. It's just pulling it inwards. This one has a little bit less water and less pigment, but it still has the same effect. And you can just drip as many of these drops onto your paint as possible, and you can just see that beautiful spread that's happening. Again, I'm going to go over to the next petal. So you might feel tempted to want to go ahead and start adding paint right next to it, but you really need to let them fully dry. So have other projects going on at the same time, so that you are able to just resist painting next to it. So the next one I'm going to go to is this smaller leaf here in between, and I'm just leaving all of the in-between leaves blank for now, and we'll come back to them later. So that's the last leaf. I'm just adding another droplet of water and just having that kind of a really beautiful effect. So for now, we're going to leave this, let it dry, and then come back. Now that those amazing colors have dried, I'm going to go in with a bit of the yellow at the base of some of them, like this, just so that it has a little bit of a color coming through. Not all of them, but just a few of them. And then I'm going to go back in with my purple color, cleaning my brush, and we're just gonna blend it inwards with that high water content. It's just really just dragging it in and letting those colors meld with each other. It just creates such a beautiful effect. So starting at the tips and then dragging that color downwards into the yellow, just like that. Then you have a really beautiful flower. So up here I'm just doing the same technique and then just dabbing and flicking into the yellow. It gives you such a really organic shape. It takes away from perfectionism and it allows you to create something that's really different. I'm just going in with a little bit of a darker shade here for some shadow, and then taking that darker shade and then dabbing it in some other areas as well, like around here. Just allowing that to meld with all the other colors. Now for the stamen, I am going to go in with a brown, and I'm just going to do tiny little circles. I don't mind if it blends a little bit into some of the wet ones. That's just some of the beauty of it, but as long as it's mostly dry and not all blending all over the place. The stamen should be dry at this point, and it shouldn't meld too much into the colors. And I'm just doing little dabs and little flicks to give it that really beautiful feel. While most people can follow the steps in this video and get a beautiful flower, I find more people get even better results with their art when they stop scrolling and become more present and mindful in their art practice. That's why if you're someone who wants to become more mindful with your art, then your next step is to watch this video here where I share 10 phone-free analog rituals that I swear by.